But I want to talk to you about a concept today called building a goal binder. If you'll just stay with me here for the next 30 minutes, I think I'm going to introduce you to a concept that probably will change your life like it changed mine. You see, 15 years ago, a mentor of mine told me to read Think and Grow Rich. And that was the start of my journey. The number one thing that you need to be successful in life is clarity. Clarity of purpose, clarity of aim, and clarity of plan. But it starts with clarity of purpose. See, in the book, Flight Plan by Brian Tracy, he says this. He says an airplane is off course 99% of the time. So how does it end up at the perfect place? I mean, you could land a plane remotely with a robot with today's technology on a little tiny tarmac. How does that work? Because it's a series of course corrections along the way. A proper goal binder is what's going to keep you on track daily. I'm just going to be straight up. If you're not reading your goals or some form of goals on a daily basis, your chances of winning are significantly lowered. If I've been coaching you or mentoring you direct to me, I've been talking to you about reading your goals daily since the day you started. But you know what our co-founder, Monty Holmes, said? After a 45-year career, I believe he's been in this business, the most frustrating thing for our co-founder is how few people actually read their goals on a daily basis. Can you believe that there's people in our company that have been here for 3, 4, 5 years? They have families, they have kids, they've given up successful careers, and they're here, and they still don't read their goals on a daily basis. They are leaving this entire thing to chance. So my outcome for today is to just reaffirm the importance of having some form of goals. And I'm going to show you the format that's worked for me. Write this down. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Steve Holbrook, I get off track every single day. Every day I get off track. Something happens here. I get a call. I get an email, right? Something happens with the kids. Listen needs me for something. I'm always getting pulled. The bigger your life, the more opportunity to get pulled in different directions. It's never going to be smooth sailing. You're always going to stumble forward and stay confused. But when you have goals, every single morning you get back on track. Every single morning you right the ship so that you make sure you don't sail 25 miles in the wrong direction. So I want to talk to you today about what that looks like and how it's worked for me. Keys to building a goal binder. Number one, you need to start with the end in mind. Maybe 5 years is too far out. Well, you know what I recommend? I recommend somewhere between 36 months to 5 years. What do you want this to be? Where do you want to go? What is this? Can you imagine being here 7 years and still being stuck where you're at? Can you imagine being here 8 years, 9 years and still not making any money? There are people in our company that have done that, and there's nothing wrong with still being here. These are fighters. But how long can they fight? I don't know anybody in WFG who's read their goals every day for 5 years and is not making over 6 figures. Not one person. But the key is you got to start with the end in mind. I'm going to recommend this, a 24 to 36 to 60 month game plan in terms of how far you can see. And when I say game plan, I mean vision of where you want to be, so that when you feel totally flat at the end of each day, like sometimes I do, every morning I get back on track because I'm looking at the end. See, when I'm in the day-to-day grind and I'm not feeling great about myself, I look 5 years out. I look 3 years out. I look 1 year out, and it keeps me excited about the future. Number two, I recommend you have a theme for every year. I've been talking about this for 15 years. Can you believe it? Every year, Rabindra, for 15 years, I've had a theme for my year. Every year, there's been a theme. Why is a theme important? A theme creates a campaign, and I get excited about those things. I'm going to show you. I just pulled up a bunch of my last business plans. I don't have time to go through them all, but check this out. 2014, my cover page was Steve Holbrook, the Kingmaker. All my suits have the Kingmaker. I don't want to be the king. I want to be the king and queen maker. How about this one? The blueprint, kind of basic, but it was the blueprint, the key to my life. How about this one? Can you guys see this one? The year of generational security. You guys see that? That's this year. I'm going to go back into it. My theme for this year is generational security. How about this one? What about this year? 2016, right? Dominating the base shop. That picture, it resonates with me. It's a warrior. I'm going into battle. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting against mediocrity. I'm getting ready. I'm getting fired up. In fact, that gladiator is tattooed on the outside of my arm. How about this year? 2018, all about the base. All about the base. You see those lions? That's my base shop. Those are my future direct MDs that I built since 2018. That's my focus, building a front line of lions and lionesses. That year was all about the base. What else? How about 2020, EVC MVP? Dan Shirley, his wife, made it in the back of that picture. I'm not sure how she peeped us. This is taken in Las Vegas during the gala. Every time I looked at this picture for the entire year, I thought of recognition, being in Vegas, competing to be on stage. It was mission EVC MVP. And on, how about this one? Another year, back-to-back, dominating the base, Warriors, fighting, grow, compete, win. How powerful is that? Every single year since I started, I've had a theme and I can pull them all up.
Steve, I'm having a hard time leading by example. I've been here 7 years and I'm still an associate.
Because you're not paying attention to what it takes to win. You don't need to be a great speaker. You don't need to be uber talented. You don't need to come from the right side of the tracks. You just have to be dialed into your goals. You just have to be dialed into your goals. That's it. Number 3, I want you to use pictures to anchor your emotions. I do strategic pictures throughout my game plan. It anchors me. It brings me in emotionally. Number 4, I want you to break them into clear-cut categories. Okay? Again, this is just what I do. You can manipulate it how you want. This is what's worked for me. See, the difference between someone like myself who started when I did and a peer that started at the same time as me, the difference between me and them is that I was clear on my 4 categories. These are the categories that I've been tracking. Number 1 is business goals. Number 2 is financial. Number 3 is health and wellness. And number 4 is spiritual and growth. My vision for you is that when I'm done this training today, some time in the next week or two, you know, when you're not working and the lights are off and the kids are in bed, you start working on your life plan, your goal binder. Number 5 is you need to break your plan into 3 sections. Specifically business, but all 3 potentially, or all 4 potentially. Number 1 is you need goals for each category. You need a blueprint. And you need an execution plan. I know a lot of people that have goals, but they have no tangible plan on how to do it.
I want to lose 100 pounds.
Fantastic. And?
I'm kind of like just throwing it out there. I'm flipping my tarot cards every morning and I'm just going to lose 100 pounds because the universe is in my favor, right?
Sorry. Doesn't not work like that. You need a blueprint and then you need to execute. What does execution look like? That means accountability. You got to be accountable for your goals. Are you brave enough to look at your goal at the end of every month? Listen to this. Trey, I don't make the most money here. I'm not the fastest here, but at the end of every single month for the last 15 years, I looked at the month I had, I compared it to the goal that I set, and I wrote an actual figure beside it, and I said I'm either up or I'm down. And I looked at it every month. What you don't measure, you will never improve. Write that down. What you don't measure, you will never improve. And my last reminder is this: done is better than perfect. I was mentoring a few people 5-6 years back, and I told them this exact concept, and they still haven't done this because you know what? They're still worried about the perfect picture. They still haven't come up with their theme yet for 2017. Can you imagine? Done is better than perfect. Anything is better than nothing. Anything at all. And that's the key. So what I want to do with you now is I want to share with you. And again, I'm going to share with you my private business plan, and I'm going to share with you what I read. I updated the numbers to the end of November, but I want to walk you through how I build my goal plan. Now listen, yours does not need to look like mine. It does not need to be 10 pages. It needs to be simple. 3, 4, 5 pages. Keep it simple. Something you're going to read. Something that inspires you. Something that you have to keep track on. Your life is a movie. Listen to me, and you're the main character of that movie. But here's the difference. You ready? You get to write the script. I want to tell you something. I've never hit all of the goals I've set out in any year, but I've never not ended up hitting all of the goals. I'm going to repeat that. I've never hit all of the goals I've set out in a year, but I've never not ended up hitting all of those goals. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nutso? That should give you so much confidence to know that if you follow the format and you build it out, anything is possible. If you follow the format and you build it out, anything is possible. So I'm going to share with you my little Picasso, if I may. Okay. And I'm going to kind of walk you through the mindset of how I build my little plan. I want you to imagine me reading this in the morning. And I imagine me reading this to my kids, and my wife hasn't even seen this update yet. This is the year of generational security. What does that mean? See, we've done a really good job of building security for my wife and I till the day we die. We are set up from now till the day we die. If anything happened, we're set up. We could literally stop working today. We could move to Acapulco. We could move in with Andrea, and we'd still probably earn between $70,000 to $100,000 a month for the rest of our life with no base shop. So we're set. But I haven't built generational security yet. This is the year that our moves are so big that we affect our kids and our grandkids with the generational security that we're about to build. So Lissa, Mace, P, and Bear, that's how I address them. Lissa, Mace, P, and Bear. The Holbrook's gonna change the damn world. And this is the year. This is the year where it all changes. This is my inner warrior. The sun's rising. I have my sword. I'm protecting my family. I'm on the front line. They're probably somewhere behind me. My son's probably got his sword in his hand. Actually, Anna Bear's probably got her sword in hand. She's probably ahead of me on the battlefield. Piper's probably telling jokes to the army back in the battalion. So what I did is I take my business goals, some financial goals, some health and wellness, some spirituality. So what I do is I just write a few goals that are immediate and then few that inspire me long term. So when I read my goals every morning, I'm focused on 50 directs a year in the next 12 months. Long term, I'm focused on 200 direct SMDs. I'm focused on making $10 million annually. And I didn't put any dates to it here, but I have some dates on the back end. And I want to build a 10,000 licensed agency in my downline before 40, which gives us 9.5 years to do it. I have a picture of my family here because this is my favorite family picture. Look at these little munchkins. See, having kids is an unfair advantage. I don't know anybody who's read their goals every day for 5 years and who has kids who isn't winning big here. Nobody. Having kids is an unfair advantage. Sorry, guys and girls. Look, if you don't want to have kids, it's on the cards, and buy a fur baby and fight for them. Or maybe fight for you. Maybe you're worth it, right? You should be worth it. Financial, okay? I have my income goal. I want to be completely debt-free. I want to have all my taxes paid a year in advance. I want to put $1 million in cash in like an opportunity fund outside of my savings, just like in a cash account. My buddy, one of my buddies from Arte, I'm not going to tell you who, he's a good friend of mine. He has $1 million in cash in his checkings account as his opportunity fund outside of his investments. $1 million in cash. He's 29 years old. And I want to have 10 million saved long-term investments. Health and wellness, I want to focus on longevity. I'm done with these little fad diets and these little fad things. I want to focus on age management. I want to live by example. I need to get rid of my sugar addiction, which I'm working on with accountability partners. I want to be fit as... Sorry, that's my language, not yours. And I want to be yoked. It's just an expression for 185 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. I mean, I just want to be 185 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. That's just, that for me, that works. Spiritually, I want to get closer to God. I don't care. This is my plan, not yours. I want to get closer to my creator, and I want to utilize more the power of prayer. One of the things that Ed challenged me as my mentor, we talk about Christianity all the time because he's a Christian. He challenged me to pray more. So I have a picture of me just from my archive that reminds me to, you know what? Every once in a while, you just got to get on your knees and you got to pray, Steve. So that reminds me. Now, you don't need to look exactly like this. You just need to follow my sixth conceptual format. I have my top 3 reasons why I'm doing this. I shouldn't say my top 3, the top 3 that excite me. My number 1 goal is within the next 5 years, I'm going to take my family on an 8-week sailing trip through the Mediterranean with Lissa and the kids. We're going to rent a yacht, probably like an 80-foot yacht, fully catered, like full staff. We're going to start in Barcelona, Spain. We're going to sail to Marseille, France, Monaco, Rome, Sardinia, Sicily, Athens, Santorini, Istanbul. We're going to end in Bursa, Turkey. This is one of the ports. We're going to do that. It's been on my bucket list since I was 23 years old. Second is we're going to do some experiences of a lifetime with my family. So I pulled the kids, I talked to Liz, I talked to my son, and my girls, they're a little bit young, but these are some things we want to do. We want to go to F1 in Monaco. We want to go to the Super Bowl. I want to go to a Final Four A lot of these are for me, by the way, but my family's coming with me. Stanley Cup winning game. I want to go to the U.S. Open tennis in September in New York. Augusta National. I've already done that one. I want to go again with my family. I want to go to a World Series final game. You guys, I like sports. I want to go to a College Bowl game. I want to go to all 32 arenas with my son. I want to watch I want to go to every NHL arena. I want to go to Olympic gold hockey medal game. I want to go World Cup soccer game. That's coming up here in the next few years. We might be able to check that off pretty quick. I want to go West Coast deep sea fishing trip, 6-star, African safari. We're actually doing this next August. We're taking our family to Africa for 3 weeks. 6-star. We have a tour guide that's flying from Calgary with us, and we have full security detail for 3 weeks. We're going to do a full safari. I want to take a private plane to Paris for the weekend with my girls so they can buy their grad dresses if that's what they want. Swimming with the dolphins in Bora Bora with my family, and I want to go to a New York Broadway musical shopping trip with my family. And lastly, helicopter ride into a volcano in Hawaii. I want to go right into the volcano in a helicopter. So these are my top 2. My last one is net worth. For me, this might not motivate you, but I want $100 million net worth by 50. For me, $100 million net worth, cash flow is temporary, net worth is permanent. Cash flow is for kings, net worth is for kingdoms. I want to build security. I want to write a check every year for $1 million a year to charity. Our son is battling hard with Crohn's right now. I've had Crohn's since I was 2. It's a big part of our life. I think it's what makes me humble, helps me stay humble. I want to write a check for $1 million per year to charities, just for kids though. I love kids. Adults will figure it out. I want to help kids. I want to build our dream home on a piece of land. That's why I have this picture of this 60-foot acre land. I do want a private airplane, and not because I want to be ostentatious, because what Ed said, the nice thing about having an airplane, you can finish an appointment in Manitoba and you can be home for dinner and then go to your daughter's hockey game. It's not the baller status I'm looking for. I want time with my kids. I want time with Liz. I want to be home for dinner more. I want to be in Toronto with Rabindra and Fatima, and I want to fly home so I can be at Little Bears, whatever she's into. Not her soccer game, because she lies on the ground and doesn't really try. So something. I love the Flames. It's hard to be a Flames fan right now, but I want to have a box. I want to own an NHL box so that I can bring my team, catered team events. We can go to 41 games a year, probably give a few games away. And last but not least, and this is probably going to happen in the next 3 years, I'm going to fund a $50 million joint last to die 10-pay whole life policy with Equitable Life. $50 million whole life joint last, which means it does not pay out until the second one of us dies. That's just for our kids. It's a $50 million policy. So that when we die, and we will, there's a $50 million tax-free benefit that pays down to my kids, and it will cover not all the taxes on our estate, but many of them. So that's why I get up every morning at 5:30 a.m. and I go to the gym. That's why when I recruit somebody, they quit the next day. That's why when I have a teammate call me up and say, hey, I don't appreciate you and I don't respect you and you're not doing enough for me, I kind of laugh it off, because guess what? Next. I know who I am. I know who this team is. I know where we're going. I know who wants it and who doesn't. And I'm not worried about things, because I know where I'm going. Then in my game plan, I have my 5-year plan. My 5-year plan is to have 5,000 licenses for this hierarchy. I have it all. And then I have my 12-month. Okay, this is the blueprint part. Remember I said the blueprint? Here's the blueprint. This is what the blueprint looks like. Okay, the next 12 months, I want to do 2 million points in my base. I want you guys to write this down. Take the next 12 months. The first 3 months, you do 20% of the goal. The second 3 months, you do 25% of the goal. The third 3 months, you do 25% of the goal. And the third and the last, you do 30%. Who can tell me why I scale this? Compounds. So out of that 2 million, Fatima, the first 3 months, so this month we're focused on 31 recruits and 133,000 points for November, December, January. Then we're going to scale it to 39 recruits and 166,000 points. Same here. And then we're going to go big on the last quarter. 200, 200, 200, 47, 47, 47. Who can tell me how many base shop recruits we're at for the month so far? We're at 11. I do this every morning. It's the 9th. I go 9 divided by 30. We're 30% through the month. 11 divided by 30. We're on pace for 31 recruits this month. Guess what our goal is? 31 recruits. Guess who's on track for the recruiting goal this month? Why? Because I read my goals every morning. Not by accident. Why do you think most people can't hit 5:30 if their life depended on it? Because they don't read their goals every morning. They're getting sidetracked every day by CNN. My God. I wrote my media goals for the next 12 months out. I have all my current SMDs. I have my potential SMDs for the next 12 months lists. Then I have my execution. So now I broke it down. I'm only focused on the first 3 months. That's it in terms of tracking, just the first 3. I want to do 12 directs in the next 3 months. November, I got to do 4. I'm at 2, 4, 4. At the end of the first quarter, I'm going to see how I do out of 12. If I do 12 out of 12, guess what I get? 100%. If I'm short, I'm minus 20%, minus 30%. Base shop recruits, we're at 11 of 31. At the end of the quarter, I evaluate where we're at. See what amateurs do if they get short on their goals, they never make it up. People say, I'm going to do 10 in June. They do 4 in June, and then they never make it up in July, and they wonder why they're an MD for 3 years. Because they're not willing to make it up, okay? My base point, same thing. Execution, I'm accountable. We're going to do 16 new life licenses in the next 3 months. I got 16 spots highlighted, but there's room for 18. Every time we do one, I'm going to write a name in there. I got my super base, my super team, and then have some keys. These are some keys that work for me. How am I going to get wide? How am I going to grow? How am I going to grow social media? What are the books I'm going to read? I'm going to read 12. I used to want to read all these books. I'm going to read 12 focus books next year. I'm building out my book list, and I'm reading one by one. Right now, I'm halfway through the 17 indisputable laws of leadership because it's number 1 on my list. I got all the books laid out. I don't do any thinking. See, as a leader, you only can think about so many things in a day before you run out of space in your brain. I don't want to have to do any thinking during the day. I just want to be executing. And then guess what I have? I have all the current base shop campaigns. I look at this every morning. Guys, are you looking at this stuff? Is it somewhere in front of you? And if it's not, no wonder you're not in Mexico yet. No wonder your leader has to call you every day to register for Super Saturday. No wonder you're not on track for the lake house. I look at this stuff every morning. And then last but not least, I have like a little mentorship manual that I made every year. This is in there. The magic numbers of the business, all the metrics I should be looking at, right? How do I lead unlicensed people? How do I lead licensed people? How do I lead net recruits? What are the 3 higher law languages I should be speaking? And what are the 8 giant killers? What are 8 things that kill people the most in business, period? Do you think that reading that every day for 10 minutes in the morning is going to help me stay on track? Here's a scary thing to think about. What are you intaking in the morning? What are you getting done before you look at your cell phone every day? Guys, this has changed my life. And if you just got started or you aren't doing it, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I wasn't doing it either until I started doing it. And when I started doing it, my entire life changed. The whole game changed. So the best thing you can do to be a leader, right? Everyone's like,
I want to be an MD, right? Promote me to MD, promote me to associate, promote me to SMD. Everyone wants to get promoted.
But leadership is more than just telling people what to do. If you want to be a manager, go work at Walmart for 50 grand a year. If you want to be a leader, you got to lead by example. Today on how to do something that's going to transform your entire life.